I generally start my introduction with, I was fired from my first two corporate jobs. I've been on my own ever since. I'm a bit of a misfit. I don't like following rules. I don't like taking orders.
Yeah. All right, welcome to another episode of the Kannon Studios podcast. I am one of your hosts, Gianni here, and I'm excited about this guest. I know I say I'm excited about the guest every single week, but I truly am because this person that we have on here is really savvy in his field, but he's also straight to the point, which I love. There's no gray area. It's black and white. He's to the point. If you want an answer that's 100% honest, you are going to get it from him. And so I've had the pleasure of just having, conversations and getting to know him a little bit better through some of our kind of business networking. And I'm excited to have him on the show today. So stay tuned for this next episode of the Kannon Studios podcast. Listen, today you are in for a treat. As I mentioned in the introduction, this man here, I haven't had a lot of time that I've spent with him, but the time I have been around him and to hear him speak has been so profound because, man, just what he says is deep, but it's truthful and it's authentic to who he is. And it also helps that he's in the finance industry, right? So if there's someone that you need to listen to that's not going to give you any BS about finance, which is very crucial to business and life, you want to listen to this person here. It's none other than Mike Sena, and I'm excited for you to be on here. Thank you, Mike, for joining us. I appreciate it.
Trust me, the pleasure is mine. I
Yeah.
look forward to this. I have a lot of fun behind the microphone.
Yeah.
And you are a skilled podcaster, so what could be better?
Yeah. Well, I appreciate it. I appreciate it for sure. I'm going to put my phone. Okay, it's already on silent because as soon as we start recording, of course, it'll start ringing. Well, let's jump right into it, Mike. I've had the pleasure of kind of getting to know you a little bit over the past couple of months just through some of our networking events. But for maybe those that are listening that don't know who you are, give them a little bit about yourself.
I generally start my introduction with, I was fired from my first two corporate jobs. I've been on my own ever since. I'm a bit of a misfit. I don't like following rules. I don't like taking orders,
Yeah.
which is kind of odd because I do lead a value-driven life.
Yeah.
I've learned there's a lot of gray in life, but I tend to be black and white.
Yeah.
And there's right or wrong. I think there are absolute truths and falsehoods, but I've had a wonderful journey. So I've created 4 businesses over the years. 3 have done well. 1 did not do well. Always a learning experience.
Yeah.
Father. One of the neatest things I've done, I helped produce a TEDx conference in Woodstock a couple of years ago.
Okay.
That was eye-opening in a lot of respects. It was a master's level curriculum on project management and playing well with others, because we had a lot of people on the team, a lot of volunteers in there.
Yeah.
And I play polo for fun, which is
Okay.
kind of neat.
Yeah.
And I like to go boating and
Yeah.
like being outside.
Okay. Are you from Georgia?
I am born and raised in Atlanta, downtown Atlanta, St. Joseph's Hospital.
Wow.
Graduation season's taking place now. I graduated from the old downtown Atlanta auditorium.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen a lot of changes.
So is it, right, there is a lot of changes, especially, I mean, we're in here in Cherokee County. There's a lot of changes here, but just in Atlanta, there's a lot of changes. What does that change kind of feel like for you? Does it feel like it's being stripped of some of those things you remember? Or are you kind of embracing what's happening?
Generally, I try to embrace what happens. There's no
Yeah.
other viable alternative. I mean, there was a lady that did a TEDx talk, a different TEDx talk up in Swanee. We may get into this particular individual.
Okay.
But the speaker at this guy's TEDx conference was a technology lady, and she says technology never goes back.
Mm-hmm.
Seems kind of simple, but progress never goes back.
Right.
I don't know how to fix it.
Right.
One of the things I look at is, now I've got mine, but I want to stop you from getting yours.
Right.
I don't know how that works.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Well, I told y'all this is going to be a fun episode.
We're just getting started.
We're just getting started. All right. So we've had an introduction to you. Now we're going to kind of peel behind the curtain a little bit. What's your favorite song, Mike?
It depends on what's playing on the radio at the time. I'll answer this with a couple of different answers. I was sitting on the front porch listening to, I guess, Alexa. Mm-hmm. And if there's a song that kind of encapsulates my generation, it's Bye Bye Miss American Pie.
Okay.
I can tell you, not my favorite song, but it came on, and to my amazement, I knew every word. And I sang the whole song, start to finish, didn't skip a beat, didn't miss a riff or any of that.
Yeah.
Next came on, I hadn't heard this in a while, Closing Time.
Okay.
Do you know what I'm talking about? It's
Maybe.
Closing Time. Something along the lines, you don't have to go home, but you have to leave here.
I've probably heard it, but I might need to listen to that again. Yeah.
And I think the more recent, I can't seem to get enough of, is this Shallow song, Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga.
Okay.
I just love that song. And the ability to write that kind of music that moves people emotionally so significantly, it's amazing to me.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that song. I can't get enough of it as of now, but there'll be another song next week. Okay.
So you gave us 3 favorite songs. Okay, I'm going to now I have to add them to some sort of playlist. So what is something you've changed your mind about in the last few years, and what prompted the change?
I was thinking about this question, and I got to tell you, I believe, never say never. Mm-hmm. But I don't think I will ever have my act together. I remember in my 20s, when I get to be 30, I'll have it figured out. I'll know this business of life, and then 40s come. And it's like, well, I'm married, I got a kid, I got a business, I got employees.
Yeah.
Surely I'll have this figured out.
Yeah.
And now I'm in my 60s. Life is an amazing journey. It can be really rich.
Yeah.
It can be really rewarding. It's got disappointments, but you just keep going. Mm-hmm. I don't think I'll ever have my act together, have it all figured out, know exactly what's going to happen, where I'm going, because, like we talked about before, nobody knows what's coming around the next corner.
Right.
And nobody knows what song is going to be on the radio next week.
Right, right. The fact that you thought that you had to have your stuff together, but now you're embracing the fact that you never will.
Never. I'll never say never, but I don't see it happening. Just when I think I got it all figured out, something will come from left field, or there'll be another epiphany, or you keep learning about yourself and learning about others, and how to go through life with fun and grace.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going off course here, but you said learning how to embrace others. How does someone do that? How do you embrace someone that maybe doesn't think like you?
I think the easiest way is to ask questions and be genuinely curious.
Yeah.
We go all day on this, but that's a skill set. And I will tell you, it's something I have worked on over a number of years, to ask better questions and to really kind of peel back the layers on what's going on in somebody. Mm-hmm. And it's really easy to be confident and knowing and secure and grounded until, somebody rips the ground out from under you. Right. That's where strength and courage really comes from.
Okay. You're like spitting like little okay, this is good, Mike. No, this is really, really good, because you're saying stuff that's going to hit home for a lot of people. You said strength and courage comes when you think you have everything figured out, and then everything comes from underneath you, and that's where your strength and courage come from.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I heard something years ago that really resonated with me. Seems kind of simple, but self-esteem comes from doing esteemable acts. And to me, that just resonated.
Yeah.
And we all have to put ourselves out there a little bit and embrace the uncomfortable and the unknown and come through it. That's where confidence and courage, strength kind of comes through. You build it like working out in the gym.
Yeah.
You've got to keep working at it every day.
Right.
Every week, every month. I got tons of little sayings, but one that I love from some years ago is, if you can't change the people you're with, change the people you're with. It's amazing how much insight and encouragement you get from those around you, and kind of vice versa. If somebody's not serving you and you're not serving them, best to part ways.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned kind of being able to see people's true feelings through what's really on their heart, right? And I'm sure that you have to do that, especially being in the finance industry, because people may come to you and say, hey, I have this goal, but you really have to understand kind of the why behind it so that you can really help them. So kind of going back a little bit, you're in the finance industry. Have you always been savvy with finances?
Well, I've always liked having money in my pocket.
Yeah.
I started working when I was 12.
Okay.
I like work. I think work is productive, but I like having money in my own pocket. And I love business. I'm a business guy. That's kind of my thing, starting these businesses and not really fitting in well with corporate America.
Yeah.
I was in the IT business for a number of years, about 24 years. And the first 15 were a lot of fun. The last 10, not so much fun. Had a lot of stress in my life. A lot was going on.
Yeah.
And one of the things that was going on is a number of my friends and family members, neighbors, they were just complaining about the crappy financial advice they were getting. The epiphanies I had some years ago, Wall Street's really no different than DuPont, General Motors, Johnson & Johnson.
Yeah.
Wall Street manufactures financial products to sell.
Yeah.
And there's a home for pretty much every financial product that they invent. And it's really incredibly complex and miraculous, some of the stuff they come up with. But it almost never fits in your garage.
Yeah.
You got to be careful. And that leads me down a whole nother rabbit hole. A lot of my clients come to me, it's an event-driven situation that causes somebody from being in a position of comfort to moving to a position of discomfort. And how can I find the comfort for them?
Started with you liking to have kind of money in your pocket, and now you're showing people to do the same thing comfortably. And so they come from all different angles, but I can see the correlation in between that. What prepared you to pursue a career in the financial industry?
Well, I think the main thing is having a head for business.
Yeah.
This may come out wrong. I'll raise my hand here. My personal life is just as much a mess as everybody else's.
Right.
But when it comes to business, I had a pretty clear head.
Yeah.
And I could look at things fairly objectively. And, another one of my favorite sayings, and everybody's heard this, is it's really easy to tell others how to raise their kids and manage their money.
Yeah.
Once things were kind of going, not really the wrong direction, but I just wasn't having fun in the IT business. And I started looking at something else to do, and I stumbled across this fee-only financial planning model. It resonated with me. I like the idea of helping people on a little bit deeper level.
Right.
So I went back to school. There's this thing called the Certified Financial Planner Board of Standards.
Okay.
There's about a 22-month education curriculum.
Okay.
And I ended up doing that online. Anyway, that worked out pretty well. So I passed that exam, the Certified Financial Planner exam. It's pretty rigorous. It's not the same as a CPA exam, but it's a multi-hour exam that covers a number of topics. There's multiple choice, there's an essay portion, and there's case studies.
Right.
And I passed it. I'll never forget. It was... I didn't really find out until 4 a.m. because the website was so jammed with people trying to log in to see. Oh, I got grades are out. Log in to see. And I couldn't log in, so I logged in about 4 o'clock in the morning, and it said passed.
Oh,
and I just started crying. I just it was such an emotional release.
Yeah.
Typically, it's about a 48 to 52% pass rate.
Wow.
On that exam.
Yeah.
And so I was kind of off and running.
Yeah.
And once again, thinking I knew what I was doing.
Yeah.
I didn't.
Right. Right. So you have kind of, when you think about what it is that you do and how people come to you, they have a large lump sum of money, and it's basically their livelihood, how they're going to survive, right?
Yeah.
Regardless of how you look at it. That seems like that can be a lot of pressure to do the right thing, because they're looking at you to advise them on the best route to take. So in that, as you're walking through that journey with them, what drives your passion to still continue to want to help clients do this?
It's hard to say.
Yeah.
I just love it.
Okay.
I love the work.
Yeah.
A new client comes in, and one of the problems, particularly with my industry, is you have to collect a lot of data.
Yeah.
There's forms to fill out. There's life insurance policies to dig up. There's deeds and titles to verify. It can be somewhat exhaustive. Nobody likes doing that shit.
Right.
Sorry, nobody likes doing that stuff.
It's okay. No kids are probably listening to this.
Most people really don't have their financial house in well order.
Right.
It's time consuming. And, but I just like assembling it. To me, it's a jigsaw puzzle without the box top.
Yeah.
And coming up with something that really makes sense for that specific individual or family. Mm-hmm. One of the cornerstones of my practice, it sounds a little counterintuitive. Mm-hmm. And there's a longer story behind this, but I really try to get people to make the most of what they have and live in the present. Mm. There's so much that we have no control over when it comes to the future. And generally speaking, I don't get very detailed much beyond 5 years. Mm-hmm. When I got started into the business, I did beautiful financial plans, same kind of thing.
Yeah.
40, 50 pages, and I used primarily Word and Excel.
Yeah.
And people would read them, and they'd go in a drawer, and they'd sit.
Yeah.
I try and break it into more bite-sized, manageable pieces. Mm-hmm. They'll say, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time, one step at a time.
Yeah.
Figure out, number one, what's really driving the discomfort. Mm-hmm. Let's work on that. And typically, a financial planning engagement is 4 to 6 months.
Okay.
Gives everybody time to kind of relax and breathe. If there's something urgent, we'll address that. Mm-hmm. But generally speaking, it unfolds over time.
Right.
And the basis of my business model is an annual retainer.
Okay.
That includes managing the money and ongoing comprehensive financial planning, because life happens.
Right.
And managing money is kind of an ongoing thing as well. Most people are not really good at managing their own money.
Yeah.
It's too close and too personal. We could talk about that too, but
yeah. We don't have to go into a specific example, but I'm sure that has to be maybe a pretty tense conversation when someone's coming to you and saying, hey, I want to buy this. And you're like, well, no, like this is, maybe you don't. Well, maybe you probably do say, no, that's a stupid purchase. How does that conversation usually go?
So I never use the word stupid.
Okay.
I may use the word human, but never stupid. I do not spend my clients' money for them.
Right.
One of the things that kind of lets me sleep well at night is this idea that no matter what happens, I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
And most of my clients are that way.
Yeah.
No matter what happens, we'll figure it out. People adapt.
Yeah.
And if you have that mindset to kind of roll with the waves of life, generally you're going to have a fine life. And I've learned to live a remarkably rich life on not a lot of money. Mm-hmm. Money doesn't make you happy. I don't know if you and I talked about this or not, but another epiphany came to me over the years is everything all of us want as human beings. Love, happiness, success, it's all on the inside. Mm. And if you can find it on the inside, the rest of life will fall into place. And people will adapt. You'll be fine.
Yeah. Things that's super important is understanding who you want to help or who your target audience is or, who your services are for. So for you in particular, how does having a clear understanding of your ideal client or, your target audience impact the way you deliver financial services or deliver what it is that you do? How does understanding that help you? Yeah.
What we do as fee-only planners, we get pretty in-depth on the person's financial life. It's comprehensive. We look at insurance. And even though I don't sell it, I'm a huge proponent of it.
Yeah.
Everybody needs insurance to one degree or another at some point in their life.
Yeah.
I just want to be sure that they understand the pluses and minuses and what it's going to cost.
Yeah.
So the ideal client is, 50 and over, a couple of $1 million in the bank, typically C-suite executives in transition. And one of the other lessons that I have learned about money, and it's very deep and it's very emotional, it's very intimate for most people, but there's this word has kind of gone out of fashion. There's a lot of shame in money, doing stupid stuff, making a poor investment.
Okay. This has all been great. I can't personally wait to go back and listen to it because you just hit like some little stingers here and there, and it's like, ooh, I need to write that one down. So this has been incredible. I know we've talked a lot about finance because that's the industry you're in, but all of this applies to business and just being human. So so I appreciate it. Do you have any questions for me that you want to ask?
Yeah, what's next for you and Kannon Studios?
What's next for us? Kind of going back to one of the things you hit on earlier. You start with this audience in mind that you think you want to serve and realize we can serve them if we don't want to make money. And so we're finding different ways to still be able to help those that need the help but maybe can't afford us, but then also pivoting our services to be able to cater to those that can. And so that's kind of currently what we're going through. We're pivoting more towards helping people launch podcasts like this, video podcast, audio podcast, and then more of the photography side of it. And so that's kind of where that's really what's next for us, is helping people launch their podcast show. And so, we started out doing a lot of video, and now we're doing more of the monthly podcast content. Cool. So that's where we are.
I want to go back on something because I think you kind of glossed over it a little bit.
Yeah.
But a month being on your own, that's a huge deal. Just so everybody understands, you had a corporate job and you left corporate America to start your own thing. That is really huge.
I appreciate it.
Big kudos to you.
Thank you. Well, the hardest thing was I love the job that I was at and I love the people that I work with. But I knew in order to really build this thing out like we planned, I had to let something go. And my mom gave me a really good analogy, and she doesn't even know. We were on the phone the other day, and recently I bought some palm plants, and some of them were dying, but then I noticed in the middle of it, there were like 2 leaves that were dying and then one in the middle that was trying to grow, but it couldn't fully grow. And so I was like, Mom, what do I need to do? And she was like, well, in order for that one in the middle to fully grow, you got to cut those 2 off because those 2 on the side will weigh down and stunt the growth of the one in the middle. And we were talking about plants, and I was like, you know what? Like every day God just shows me that the decision I made to leave my job, it's a little bit stressful and a little bit like, man, I got all this responsibility. But every day God gives me like these little notes of like, you're doing the right thing. So when she said that the other day, she didn't even know, but I was like, she just spoke to me, and we were talking about plants, so
I'm good. Cool.
I appreciate you saying that because I don't give myself praise. I'm like, that's what I'm supposed to do.
You should.
But
pat yourself on the back every day.
I appreciate that.
There's nothing better than entrepreneurship and making your own way.
Yeah.
We can go all day on that, trust me. But anyway.
Yeah. Okay. Any other questions for me?
Actually, yes.
Okay.
This came up at one of our networking events. So your husband's a vegan.
He is vegan.
Your son is not, and you are not.
No.
How does that work?
Well, we've kind of, it's normal for us now because he's been vegan. Let's see, Cannon's almost 8. So Kyle's been vegan almost 6-7 years. At first it was difficult because there weren't a lot of stores weren't carrying vegan products and things that you thought were vegan or whatever, because there's a difference in being vegan and vegetarian.
Yes, I do know that.
So for us, it's typically, let's just say I make a protein. I don't know, I might make chicken or something for me or Kannon. I'll figure out what protein Kyle needs for that. So whether it's beans or whether it's, whatever. And then we all eat the same sides. So
okay.
The sides are typically vegan anyway. We already don't do dairy. Dairy's terrible for you. We don't do, cheese. We don't do anything like that. So really the only thing that me and Kannon eat that's not vegan is whatever our protein source is. So it's fairly simple. We figured it out. But that's been like 6 years of that being the. Imagine that you've just won an Emmy. You had this incredible show or movie. What would you say in your thank you speech?
I'd really thank all of the people that helped me get to where I am.
Yeah.
I can't do it alone.
Yeah. That's true.
I'd start with my mom and dad. I had wonderful parents.
Yeah.
Good upbringing.
Yeah.
I've been blessed. This is a whole topic on itself too, but to have mentors throughout my life that care for me, I care for them, but having the ability to be friends enough with someone that they'll tell you when you're going in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
And they don't care.
Yeah.
When you're wrong, you're wrong.
Yeah.
But yeah, just thanking the people that helped me.
There you go. I think that's perfect. That's been the common theme so far, and you've continued the streak of, I didn't do this by myself. I had all these people behind me. So I love that. Well, thanks, Mike. This has been fun. I enjoyed it. You've given some really great advice just on here. And I can't wait to listen to the final episode whenever we release that. So if someone wants to get in contact with you or maybe continue this conversation, what's the best way for them to reach out to you?
I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Facebook.
Okay.
My business is Mike Sena, Sena, Advisors, ADVISORS.com.
Okay.
Probably the best way. You can learn about me on the website and follow me on social media. And maybe I'll venture back into YouTube. We'll see.
There you go. Absolutely. Well, thanks again. And for everyone that's listening, I appreciate you listening. This is Gianni with the Kannon Studios podcast. Listen, if you like this episode, would you mind, first of all, subscribing to our show, leave us a review, and then share this with 5 people. Listen, if you're listening like on Apple or Spotify, whatever, just click the little share button and text it to 5 people, or share it across social media for us, because if it helped you, it can help all the people that you're going to share it with. Don't be stingy. Share it with some other people too. And as always, thank you for listening. Until next time, this is Gianni with the Kannon Studios podcast.